Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning and welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. My name's Bill Allen. I'm sitting in for Winston Chester this morning. We got a great show lined up for you, a lot of information coming your way. We got a couple of great guests that are going to be on today. So let's jump right into the tide situation. And the tide chart today brought to us by Greg Brudnicki at Kent Forest Lawn. We're looking at a high at 12:50 a.m. with a low at 12:15 p.m. So, you know, you got some good tide moving before and after lunch today. It ought to be a good day to get out. The peak fishing times brought to us by Mark Cowart at Edgewater Realty are 2 a.m. to 4 a.m., which I'll probably miss. But then you got 2:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m., so should be great fishing this afternoon with pretty decent tide moving. And so we got a lot to cover today, so we're going to go ahead and jump out and take a break, and we'll be right back with two guests. Welcome back. We're glad you're with us this morning. I'm joined by two great friends of mine, two great fishermen and sponsors of the show. Greg Brudnicki, our mayor, the real good friends of mine. I can't remember who's who, and Mark Cowart. You know, and truthfully, a lot of people consider them to be the second and third best red fishermen in the county. We're not going to say, you know, who's the first, but let's just go on with that. So, Greg, a lot going on. I know there's a lot going on, and we wanted to, you wanted to come in and kind of give us an update about Karl Gray Park and the landing and, you know, maybe what's going on downtown. Now, we started this, I mean, really, you were made aware of the situation back in the spring, right? I mean, correct. March or April or something, and he got on it right then. Now, we're here in October, and, you know, some people say the state moves really slow on certain things, especially with the environment, but there is progress, right? I mean, the plan's in place. So bring us up to date on what's happening.
Well, you know, we could have chosen to put a Band-Aid on the situation and we've gone out there and kind of cleaned up, but we didn't do anything permanent because in order to do something permanent, I wanted to do something that was going to last. So we really looked at the fact that there is an outflow from 98 where people most of the time put their boats in at Karl Gray. And what we want to do is, of course, shift it toward the bridge, get it away from there, and redo the landing where you put your boat in.
So you're talking about a whole new...
Well, exactly. And you'd still be able to use this one that's existing, but maybe just use that for sea-doos and stuff. So if we go more to the west, what happens is, so that we don't have to go back and put a Band-Aid on it or redo this, you know, once or twice a year because of the natural flow of what's going to dump in off of 98, we want to put in a breakwater.
Yeah.
Well, we just can't put in a breakwater. We have to have permission from the Corps and the DEP. So we would rather do it right and make sure that we don't have to go back and waste taxpayers' dollars maintaining something a lot more than we should have to if we do it right. Now, there probably should have been a breakwater put in there a long time ago, but for whatever reason, it wasn't done. Well, I like to do things, you know, I'd like to do it one time and see that it would last. So that's what we're waiting for, is to get the okay. First of all, we're going to get a grant to do it, and secondly, we want to get the okay and approval from DEP and the Corps to put in a breakwater so that it will stop that flow of whatever comes that passes around through the bay and divert it so it will not fill in the area where you put your boat in.
Yeah, well, there's two things. One is, you know, Mark called me and said, hey, when's the last time you put in over there? And it's all that sand just keeps creeping over, and it got so narrow, and then it filled in, and that's going to continue.
Absolutely.
So breakwater is like a jetty, right?
That's
Rocks
correct.
in there, that's what you're planning on putting out a good ways. But also, further down, you got a little deeper water as far as being able to get out to the bay without disturbing as much, right?
Yes.
The area you're looking at.
Yes, it is a little deeper, and so right now it's very, even after if it was cleared out where it is right now, you both know it's very tide sensitive,
Oh,
especially in the wintertime. You know, when it's a north wind, which is going to dictate more so even than the tide flow, which even if it's small, but that north wind blows that water out of the bay, there are a lot of times that you can't use that landing, or you have to worry, I've got to hurry up and get back in.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, if I come in late in the afternoon and I've got that outflow, I want to be able to get the boat on the trailer, and I don't want to have to get in the water because it's cold. So all those things we want to try to eliminate. And we would like to have a dock, besides having the breakwater, have a dock there. You know, staging area.
I heard a place to tie up. And that kind of
that
thing?
would be nice. So I'm going to hope that that's part of the deal. I'm not going to guarantee that, but
That'd be great.
we definitely want to do the breakwater. You know, so that it's something that people can rely on.
Well, I think everybody would agree that this history maybe of just band-aiding things, as you said, you know, it's worth waiting for if we get, you know, a quality ramp there,
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
that's going to be, the water's a little bit deeper. And that's the best parking for anybody putting a boat in, you know, anywhere.
It is.
And so, with great access to West Bay, really anywhere you want to fish
It's
over there.
convenient,
So
it's convenient to everywhere we fish.
it is convenient to just about everywhere we fish, that's true. So, you know, it's taken some time, and I know there have been a lot of questions about it, and I know Greg has worked on it, and they got on this from the beginning, or as soon as he was made aware of it. So, you know, I'm just really pleased, and it's worth waiting on. You know, I mean, most everybody, we all use Pretty Bio
Right.
now instead of being over there, which is a beautiful, beautiful landing. It's just, you know, the parking, there's a
tiny.
little bit of parking issue
It's
over
tiny,
there, and
yeah.
it's, but, you know, very excited to hear that. So, real quick, like anything going, I mean, I know there's a lot going on at the downtown marina. The question I've been asked, is that going to affect the parking or the launch over there with what's going on?
We have got an amount of BP money that's been allocated to us to redo that launch.
Wow.
To the point we've got $750,000 that's been allocated to us from BP to help. There is no staging area over there. If
That's
you all
exactly
have used that,
right.
it's pretty
Yeah.
tough. So that's part of, and we also have $1,250,000 from BP for a pier, because we know that once we create this entertainment district over there, that we are going to be taking away from some of the fishing time, you know, or fishing places that people have. A lot of people fish off the marina.
Sure
You're
they
surprised
do.
how many people out there. And a lot of times, certain times of year, it's very good. So we're going to put a pier out there so that, you know, that's
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But
That is
there's a
great
lot
news.
of good things going on. That's what happens when you got people in the position to help that are outdoorsmen. Okay, Greg, I appreciate it very much. I know
Absolutely.
you got meetings this morning, so let's take this break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that, and I appreciate Greg so much for taking some time to come in and update us on what's going on. I know a lot of people have asked questions, and I know he's been working on it diligently. But when you start dealing with that kind of stuff, it just takes time.
Oh, you're right.
But let's get on to the fishing a little bit here, and a lot of updates. And my buddy Mark here, and I'm
to see
very,
you.
very fortunate to get to fish with these two guys a lot. Just if you got two good friends that you can count on to fish with, I mean, you can't ask for
Yeah,
much
that's
more.
exactly right.
But now I know your tournament trail. I mean, we're coming towards the end
We
now.
are.
We have ended, and I didn't really get to fish this year. But there's a lot going on. But there's a lot going on with this tour in this area.
Right. The Emerald Coast Redfish Club, which was founded 3 or 4 years ago, has grown to about 66 active members, is going to make the leap into the 2015 year, the season, as a pro series with guaranteed first place money. They're currently negotiating with several major sponsors to be the name sponsor. It will stretch from Orange Beach, Mobile, right there, all the way to Apalachicola. They'll start in February and fish to the end of November, so they'll add at least one tournament, if not two. The great thing about it is that there's such a demand. You go down to in South Florida, Central Florida, East and West Coast of Florida, you've got the Flashmaster Series, you've got the Florida Pro Redfish Series. But on the Gulf Coast, the northern Gulf Coast, there's really not anything. You know, there's a lot of these guys here who are extraordinarily talented, professional redfish guys. Fred Myers is a great example. Bo Sullivan, Bobby Weir, all these guys, they can win at every level, but they fish with us or we fish with them on a monthly basis. So, you know, what happens is that those guys, instead of having to run off Louisiana to pick up an extra tournament here or there, now especially for the guys who are fishing with sponsors who want you in certain quality events.
Sure.
So their sponsorship money gets more exposure. So that, and it's exciting. I mean, it is, you know, we fished it for a couple of years. You fished it. You and Dalton have fished it. It's a good group of guys. And you got to fish to win. I mean, I'm going to tell you, you got to know what you're doing if you're going to win. You know, they've had a couple of shootout events mixed in this year, which they hadn't done in the past. Michael and I won both of those shootouts.
Yeah, that's right.
And
one of them with one fish, right?
one of those was with the only fish caught that measured for the day. Michael got it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You never know.
Well, you know, this area, and this area is just target rich for fishing, you know, and people support it, and you know, the IFA left us for economic reasons. The Emerald Coast has really stepped up, you know, and just the popularity is why they're now being able to attract sponsors, and this is good for the economy. I mean, you got people coming here fishing from other places because it is a quality effort out there.
Yeah.
But you know, and the perception is that or maybe the perception is that you have to be a professional, or you have to. Let me tell you something. It's a good bunch of guys. You can learn a lot fishing around those guys and listening to them. You may not find out exactly where, but a lot of people are freely talk about what they use and you know how they fish. So a lot of technique to it.
Yeah, Michael and I, you know, as we evolved, I learned. Everybody knows I got my inshore knowledge from you. I mean, that's no doubt. And Michael and I have learned so much in the past year to year and a half. It's almost like now we're in masters. We're in graduate school on this. You know, a lot of our fishing techniques have evolved. A lot of the things that we did 2 years ago, we wouldn't even do today. Even though we could catch fish then, now we're looking for a different quality fish. The last tournament was out of Navarre. Michael and I ran over almost 180 miles that day. We ran literally 70 miles one way into West Bay, and then we fished in West Bay and left, and we had 2 good fish. We finished, I think, 5th, but we were 17 ounces out of first place. I mean, it is that tight. It's not like bass fishing where you have a 15 or 20 pound difference in a 5 fish limit. You got 2 fish that you're trying to get the biggest 2 fish at 27 inches. That's the goal. And a few 2 or 3 tournaments ago, 13 or 14 pounds finished second. 15 pounds, they thought they'd won it. 16 pounds wins it. 2 8-pound fish that were less.
2 big red.
And they neither one were 26 inches long. Both were 25 and a quarter. They looked like footballs.
They were eating well.
Those guys left East Bay and went all the way to Apalachicola. And but the reality of it is, what you said is absolutely right. There are guys fishing in this tour out of aluminum boats.
Sure,
and they're effective, you know, and it's, you know, there's guys running 75, 80 miles an hour, and there's guys running 30 miles an hour to fish, you know, and it's, you fish within yourself, and you understand what you're trying to do, and you plan your day, and
the fish don't care what you're doing.
Absolutely, they don't care.
And the only difference is, you know, with this, well, like, you know, before we had flats boats, you know, and you know, we would go to an area and just fish it. Yeah. You know, it wasn't like you and I think it might have been better because we fished an area out more
a lot more
than now just jumping in and cranking those big things up and running to 2 or 3 different places.
Absolutely.
You know, but so, you know, Winston's going to have the schedule that's going to be posted here and everything, and I would really encourage you to, even if you're not fishing in it, you know, come to the weigh-ins.
Right.
You know, the launch is a little bit early in the morning, so. But, you know, come to the weigh-ins. There's a lot of good information out there. It's a lot of fun. You know, it's just a really well-run series, and we're fortunate, you know, to have it around.
Right. You know, as you get into next year, we'll have a schedule here pretty tentative in about 10 days. The end this year, though, in November, the the Team of the Year championship will be in Panama City Beach. I think they're trying to work a deal out, launch out of Bay Point, and and it's important because, like I say, you've got certain people. Michael and I do, and Bill's on Power Pole staff, and when we fish these things, these people, they support what we want from them, and we have to give them back their value, and our value is in performing, but also doing public stuff. And there are so many good fishermen in these events, and you show up to a weigh-in, you'll learn stuff. All you got to do is ask, and they'll talk to you.
There's no question. It's a real good atmosphere. Before it's a little bit short and it's dark and everybody's talking, but afterwards people spend a lot of time trading, information on techniques and things, and it's just a great place to be. So, all right, we're going to take this break. We're going to come back with some kind of what's happening now, some fishing tips. Mark's brought some stuff, so stay tuned. Welcome back. We're glad you stayed with us. Mark's got this is breaking news on Panhandle Outdoors. We got some brand new stuff that's really not in the marketplace yet, right?
Right. I guess in some bigger markets they may have some in the stores, and you can go online and get these today.
Now, don't ruin my exclusive.
But we're not going to find them in Panama City Beach. You're not going to find them in Destin. You're not going to find them in Port St. Joe yet.
We've been looking at these. These are cool.
Yeah, Aqua Dream lures, they're spoons. I don't know if you can see that really close or not. I'll prop that up right there. They have come out with a new crab, like a little hologram of a crab on a spoon. Now, I will tell you, it gives you every color of a crab. And this spoon, now this is a 1/4 ounce spoon, and it's a little more dense. They've made it a little more narrow across the base here. But what they've done is they've offset the hook. The hook doesn't look like it's set square. I know you probably can't see that really close. It doesn't look like it's set square, but there's a little offset down here. You can see how it looks like it's angled, like it's not straight. It helps keep the spoon from spinning so bad. The screw that holds the hook and the weed guard in place is now through the body a little more than normal, and it acts more like a keel. It's trying to keep it from spinning quite so bad.
You think, what could you do to improve a spoon?
Oh, I know.
Right?
You're right.
You're
absolutely
you thought
right.
That's the perfect thing, but this is great. If this will help control the spin,
right? Michael and I, and you we'll take a little 30-pound barrel swivel and attach to these split rings to try to. So when it does spin, it doesn't spin your line up so bad. Even though they say braid won't spin, that's not necessarily the case. It will if you do it all day.
True.
But anyway, it's really exciting, and we're anxious to fish this. Michael and I will be using these coming up. And
well, they come out with these, and they put these images on
right.
that are absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I've got some that are the pinfish, that are very effective, and now they're putting crabs on them. So when you're fluttering these baits, I mean, they're just fantastic.
Right. It's and a lot of people will fish a spoon. They'll just throw it out and they'll crank it back nice and smooth. Mm-hmm. A lot of people will kind of pause and hop. The tailing fish, we found that you're better off just to kind of hop that spoon across the bottom in front of them. This crab right here, this spoon on a tailing fish should be deadly.
What better than that?
Oh, it can't be. And at the same time, what you want to do is that Procure makes this inshore scent, and this is the inshore salt water. It's a super gel. It's kind of a combination of a bunch of different bait scents, and it's the real bait is in the thing mixed up. It is sticky. You can put this on a spoon, and I'm sure you'll see this. You can put this in the spoon right through here. I like to put it around the bottom of these weed guards so it kind of gets a little traction on it. Yeah. And a lot of guys will smudge it all the way through here, and you'll fish this 4 or 5 hours. Pick it up at your house, and 3 weeks later when you're going to go back out, or 3 days later, and it'll still be slimy right here. Yeah. That stuff does not go away. But what the Procure does, it gives not just a visual of this bait, it gives it the natural scent. And a redfish has got all these scent glands. They're multiple up here. It really makes a big difference.
Yeah. I mean, that stuff on topwater baits, you're
absolutely.
putting a trail in the water, I mean, it's just using almost everything. But now, so I'm sitting here, and I am talking to now a complete convert, right? You are Z-Man 100%.
I am. You know, in Z-Man, Z-Man's one of Michael and our sponsors. It was a happenstance that we were. It was because of this
fished
show.
them before
We fished them before that, and when we were fishing almost primarily gulp, and we found these. I actually found them, really realized how great they were last winter when we jumped a school of redfish together.
Yeah.
These Z-Man baits are remarkable. These are paddlers right here. It's a 4-inch bait that this looks exactly like a mullet. Looks just like a finger mullet.
It does.
These baits already have Procure in the package on the bait. Now, we add Procure to everything anyway. We actually add more to these. But these baits, the great thing about this bait, you catch a redfish on it, you catch a trout on it, or the pinfish grab on it. I don't know if you can see this or not, but I can stretch this thing. Look at that.
They
It's
do last
crazy.
an amazing amount of time.
You catch-
But hooking them. It's
Well,
always been an issue,
now-
but you're doing it.
Yeah, now here's what we do on these. On this particular bait in their shrimp, we use a 3/0 offset weighted worm hook. And how we rig this is a little different. Most people are still putting these on and putting a jig head on it. It doesn't swim the same, doesn't act the same. You wet that weight, slide that bait in just like you're going to Texas rig a worm, and bring it out, slide it right over that, and that thing comes up, take it through the little pouch, pick it up, skin hook it, and you have a perfect weedless bait.
You cannot run a big lead like that through any other
No.
bait on the market
Absolutely.
and be able not to tear it up and be able to fish it.
Absolutely right. There's no doubt.
It's amazing. Mark's making me a convert too. They do fish fantastic and they last a long time. Well, listen, we're running out of time. I appreciate you joining us. I really appreciate my two guests today, my two good buddies. And like I said, you know, keep an eye out for this Emerald Coast redfish. It's coming to town.
It's coming.
And you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.